agent would, and they do that. Then the person is guided to believe things that were not true. See gaslighting, where the person will accept that the reality is as it is shown with the photos and documents, and they're convinced that what they remember is false, or that they imagined it and it never happened. The average person accepts the reality imposed on them because the data, the evidence, has more values than their memories. And with that, the course of a person's life is altered, making them believe that they were where they were not, that they were never from one country but from another, forcing them to change their residence, or any combination of that, as necessary and possible.
Asks Robert. So we all have a pre-designed life? How do our timelines fit in this?
Yes, everyone. Even in the pre-designed scenario, the timelines are present. What is pre-designed etherically, I would say, is mostly, if not everything, designed by the person themselves. From the point of view of 5D inserts or the procedure described above, though, it is something that is invasive to the person with the intention of controlling them.
How do you go about inserting a collective event such as a war, for example, that really did not exist?
First, by altering all the records controlling the media. Then, inserting, in the ways described above, memories and justifications of why they're not remembered by at least the key people. In the case of the Gulf War, they moved people to the Middle East, and, as they say, they only stayed there, waiting, but nothing happened. Only missiles that flew into the bases, which is easily reproducible with a false flag. So, not everyone involved needs memories inserted. And, about not remembering, they justify it with the story of the combat post-traumatic stress, or PTSD, that the soldiers forget things because of the trauma that they carry. Convenient to insert things that never happened.
But war is something that has to be inserted in many people, those who are inside, because you cannot insert it only for some Americans and set it up mediatically if afterwards people from Iraq, for example, come and say, "But what do you say? There is no war here. I just got back from the coconut party. Everyone happy."
A big war is not easy, but the Gulf one was so extremely localized that even the soldiers on the front line didn't see anything at all. They were waiting. And yes, it is possible they did it with the COVID-19. It is an extensive soup of things that happened and things that did not. Those atrocities happen all the time. You cannot say what is real and what not. It is not as simple as that. As for the Gulf War of 1991, it was media. But yes, real things happened there, as I said above. They did move the troops. But the war was fought mostly in the air with planes. Things do not happen as you are told.
In itself, humans alone manifest everything, but the Federation does include things in the invasive way, whether they accept it or not. Also because 3D is too sluggish and slow to manifest so they perceive that the humans must have a push in the direction that they themselves desire, or what the Federation perceives where it is that humans want to go, want to experience or have. But in addition to using high technology such as printing things, introducing things, and even situations in 3D Earth with the use of the tractor beam, what they do is generally with low technology. That is to say, putting things or making them appear according to what's convenient to them, using the media and altering documents in a traditional way. That is, no tractor beam, but a physical spy entering at night with a flashlight to change the records of something or introduce documents to someone's file before they are looked up later. The latter is also a problem because the cabal knows it and does the same. The Federation uses this low-tech system as it is not invasive by the Prime Directive. But that also makes them vulnerable to the cabal or intelligence agencies, also doing the same in their favor. And that happens a lot. For example, they may introduce a new King of England using some rumor or old record that alleges that the official kings are illegitimate. Although before this was irrelevant, with the help of the Federation, that king will come out at the right time, using anyone who is or has the correct profile, perhaps even an organic portal with someone managing it from behind. They introduce documents that validate him, remove those that validate others. They make sure it goes to the public or becomes of legal interest and ready. Federation intervention implementing something that did not exist before. They make up a story that the king was hiding in a cave or something, in a comfortable dump with a cable TV. This on a global level. But the Federation has so much capacity and so much power that it does it on an individual level, with each real person down there. They create a history, a family history. They implant documents, and with that, the subject in question will accept it as a real event, although has no memory of it. Memories are implanted as well, but at higher densities, but this is another subject. That is, they will introduce artificially altered photographs, photoshops, and other false documents, so that the person has a different history. This way, it will alter where he will go, where he can go, and who accepts him or her, even altering with this their nationality, family, past. Their memories do not matter so much, because humans tend to have a bad memory of their past, and before the evidence of the documents and photographs, they fold their hands and accept that something happened, even if they do not remember anything about it. This and any variant of this happens. Your pasts are inserted, like those of all people. They only play a role there, using an identity template, to work there being someone else, with a mask of Robert or Gosha or Don Mayolo. So, we were never really born? We never really grew up as children? All false? I always feel this when I go to Poland, by the way. Your memories are implanted. Your experience is that, yes, you were born, and that is valid. What you and only you decide what is your own reality. Nobody can impose it on you. Having said that, from a higher angle. It is only you who reads me from a certain critical point in your recent past. Walk-in style entry point, using a memory program implanted in the mind of your avatar body. Okay, but let's forget about my experience. I was not the girl here, for example. I thought I entered at birth. Let's see. Gosha, your experience is yours, and if you decide so, you entered as a child. If you decide so. But from my perspective, I understand and see something else. I don't want this, what my experience dictates to me. I want the truth, not what I decide. And don't tell me that what I decide is the truth. Tell me from your perspective. I repeat, this happens, and not only here, and it is the cause of much constant confusion in the viewers of your channel, that what is true at one level is not true from another, more expanded one. The human only thinks on one level. In this case, that what is true on one level, you entered as a baby, is not true on another level. You are a walk-in. And from my perspective, you are a walk-in. And Robert, too. Comments Robert. I think the same, Yashi. But I don't know when I got in here. Robert knows the moment he entered. The incident with the blue beings. Do you know, Gosha? Only you can know. Comments Robert. Yes, in 2007, 2008, I thought I was dead and went back to Earth. One came out, the other entered. I don't know, asks Robert. We have recently come to Earth? From one point of view, you are on Earth. From another, you are in the source. And therefore, from there, you can access any point in the universe. And do you know when I came in? From there, you cannot know? There must have been a strong incident, something that marked you, an epiphany, a traumatic event. I had no major incident, nothing, everything gradual. So, if it is like that, and there is nothing that marks you for yourself, then you can say that you have entered as a child. In the end, that is subjective, and it does not matter. But wait, implanted memories. This does not mean that the girl Gosha did not exist and did not have these experiences, right? Only that she left and I entered. Everybody out there in 3D works with implanted memories, realities and experiences that are not theirs or that they share with the collective. I don't understand this part, that they are all implanted memories. So, what are all these young children I see around? One day they will have these memories of having been these children, and it will not be implanted because I see them now. That is what they are experiencing today, being children and young. They come in with implants even before they are born. Some are not even real. They are a program. What implants before birth? Memories shared among many to give them a frame of reference of how to be a human, especially for souls who are on Earth for the first time. Collective memories of having been people with key experiences as a behavioral reference. One of the very common ones is to have been Napoleon. That explains why so many crazy ones insist on having been Napoleon, or Maria Antoinette as well. Okay, you said that is what they are experiencing today, being children and young people. So, yes, they are really living this, right? It's not just implanted memory, is it? They live that, but they, not you. or they are just empty programs, organic containers in process, ready to be inhabited by some star being later in life. Some star beings are on Earth to experience being children. That is not implanted memory. But they do have memory implanted before birth as a behavioral reference. That said, they are all star beings. Whether they continue in a wheel of samsara is their decision. I do not believe in forced reincarnation. Whether I am believed or not, I have died several times on Earth and have never been trapped there as a soul. When I left, I never met beings with trinkets reading my karma and making me see my life as a movie. Okay, good. So, we all have some implanted memories. Not that they are all that. This topic is very complex for me. Okay, again, right from the start. Before birth, people receive implanted memories of previous lives that they did not necessarily have or lived. This as a reference of how to be, how to behave. There are beings who enter from childhood only to experience being children, but then they leave and leave a perfectly healthy container body that another person or star being will occupy. This stellar being assumes the position, the previous memories and the life, terrestrial family and all of the being that is leaving. The body does not die. But from the point of view of one of them, the former, yes, it dies, leaves the body and returns to the source. This memory is in Robert, and it is shared by the new stellar being that lives in his body, by the experience of being Robert, because that star being is interested in being the expanded and enlightened Robert of today, not the one he was before, more matrix. Thus, infinity of variance with each person. And those implants are what the Federation imposes. As I explained to Robert, it is not an imposition per se, but how it all functions, how everything works, because it is managed in this way by the Federation. And it is something not only collective, but rather personal and personalized for each one. So it can be seen as somewhat invasive. From one point of view, it is. From another, it is just how things are, how 3D works. And to disclose this, for example, the Federation is not happy about. Because with that, you remove the veil. Because you wake up to how everything works. Whether or not humans as a mass understand or believe it. And that's not all. There are memory implants of officially accepted events, wars that did not exist, or in alternate timelines. The Federation often alters the perception of the lives of people involved in the war, including how those memories of having been in that war were implanted. Wars that are sometimes concocted by the media and never happen for anyone. And this is a serious offense against the prime directive of the Federation of United Planets. Okay, wow, fascinating. Another thing, those prenatal implants, are they removed once back to 5D? Or are they part of my being forever? I want everything to be taken away from me. I just want the truth. From below, an implant is impossible to differentiate from a real experience. It just is as something that does not fit or feel right. They are part of who you are. So even though I might have had false memories of living in Poland as a child,